Alrighty, guys. Happy Tuesday, May 20th, 2025. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. And if you guys can't tell by the sound of my voice, probably losing it just a little bit. I'm exhausted. We've done over 22 hours of streaming in the last 2 to 3 days. I will tell you guys now, we are not going to be probably able to live stream until later on this evening. So if you're in Tennessee, in Kentucky, in these risk zones tonight, just be mindful of that. There will be no live stream until way later on this evening. I've got some stuff going on as well as we're in the major risk zone here in Kentucky for today. So I'm making sure the kids are ready to go, making sure we're good to go just in case something happens. So make sure y'all watch this video entirely. It's going to talk about today. It's going to talk about the next 2 days, and in general, this should be our last significant day of severe weather for quite some time right now. We're not looking at anything significant in the next 4 to 7 days, or really next 2 to 7 days, I should say. It's going to be really today that we get this system off the coastline tomorrow, and then we should be good to go for a little bit of time here. Like I said, but if there is a live stream to watch, guys, make sure y'all do watch Connor's Climate Corner. He'll probably be live later on this evening, so make sure y'all follow him. If not, he'll be taking over as well, especially once we go on vacation next week. So once again, no live stream as of right now. You guys might have a live stream later on this evening, so I'm sorry about that. Just can't do nothing about that. So we'll go ahead and dive into this video and what we're going to be seeing here for today. We've already got a tornado watch out here for eastern Kentucky, back up here in northern Tennessee. This is for this ongoing line of storms that was moving through western Kentucky and central Kentucky this morning. There is a chance for a couple tornadoes in here. A couple strong tornadoes can't be ruled out with that. There with any QLCSs that do happen. Damaging winds will be the main threat, and the hail will be the main threat with that. You can see our main upper level low up here, back up into the high plains here. We've got a cold front extended all the way down here. There's going to be more showers and severe weather that fires off in this region here. We almost got a level 4 moderate risk today that was added, but they did not do that just due to the lack of morning convection this morning. So we saw a lot of morning convection out there. Instability is starting to come back again, so we're starting to see the environment become primed for later on here this afternoon. So that's what's going on right now. I do want to pay attention as well. There is a secondary area of severe weather up here in the upper Ohio Valley that we need to watch. There's a secondary surface low that could allow for some isolated supercells with tornado potential later up here into portions of central and southern Illinois, central and southern Indiana. So do be mindful of that if you're up in this area. Just because you're not around that main area where we're going to be seeing significant severe weather doesn't mean you can't see severe weather. There is a 5% and a 2% tornado risk that does extend this far north. So we do need to watch that going through the next couple of hours. Like I said, we probably will hopefully be able to get on live stream after 7 or 8 p.m. tonight. If there is anything still ongoing, we'll cover it. And then we're going to do a deep breakdown and talk about what we're going to see over the next couple of days. So once again, just be mindful of that. Don't be shocked if you guys don't see me on here until later on this evening. Now, I do want to go ahead and talk about what we're going to be seeing here with the Storm Prediction Center outlook. This is a enhanced, slight, and marginal risk zone today. We do have a level 3 enhanced risk. This does cover pretty much the whole state of Kentucky, all of Tennessee, pretty much eastern Arkansas here, northern and central Mississippi, Alabama, and northwestern Georgia. Level 3 enhanced risk here, level 2 slight risk in the yellow, and level 1 marginal risk in the green. What we've got today for our tornado parameters, we do have a 10% hatched tornado risk that it still is at play. We've also got a 10% non-hatched tornado risk that extends for pretty much the whole state of Kentucky. So Bowling Green, Nashville, Jackson, Memphis, Little Rock, Greenville. We could see a couple strong tornadoes, Chattanooga as well in that risk zone for today. And then we have a 5% tornado risk and a 2% tornado risk that extends all the way out to the East Coast, as well up into the down into the southwest, east or southeast portions of the United States, and up into the central Ohio Valley. So pretty broad tornado risk today. So do have a way to get alerts on your phones. There are some National Weather Service offices like Nashville and Birmingham that are not operating their NOAA weather radios. So have alerts on your phones in terms of a weather app, your news stations, whatever you guys do in terms of that. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to go live today, so you guys are going to have to find a secondary source to get alerts from. It's at least until later on this evening. So that's our tornado risk today. That's within a 25-mile radius of a given location. Wind threat is interesting as well. We do still have a 45 threat, 30 threat, 15 threat, and 5 threat for wind. This could be, probabilities are based off a 25-mile radius location. So anybody in those shaded areas could see, wind probabilities up to almost 50% chance here of seeing 60 to 70 mile per hour winds. So that will be possible, especially as you go to Bowling Green, Nashville, Chattanooga, back down into Memphis, Tennessee, into Chattanooga, into Kentucky, Evansville, Indiana, Louisville area. Just be mindful of that if you guys are out and about. The wind damage today will be the primary threat. And then we do have a hail threat as well. They did add a 30% hatched hail threat here for western Kentucky, portions of western Tennessee, eastern Arkansas, and western northwestern Mississippi for hail over 2 inches in diameter. And then outside of that, we've got a 15 to 5% hail threat for hail up to 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So that's what we've got for today. This should be our last day of significant severe weather. We do have some severe weather tomorrow. We've got a little marginal risk back down here. There's going to start to be what's called northwesterly flow, and I'll talk about that here in a second. That's going to start to aid in these little mesoscale convective days where we could see some severe weather down in the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, maybe even down to the Arklatex over the next couple of days. We do have a marginal risk along the East Coast as this system does exit, and a marginal risk back down here in southern Missouri and northern Arkansas. Tornado risk is going to be up towards Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania tomorrow, up towards eastern Ohio. Very small 2% tornado risk up there, and then a small 2% tornado risk for northern eastern North Carolina, as well as southeastern portions of Virginia. Wind threat tomorrow is at 5%, and then the hail threat is at 5%, so in all regions. So not expecting anything too crazy tomorrow. And then we got a tiny little marginal risk on the day 3 outlook for Friday, and this is going to be for Abilene into Wichita Falls and Fort Still, Texas. So So just be mindful, Fort Sill, Oklahoma, and down into southern Texas here. Just be mindful if you're in these areas, low in wind, low in hail threats, but we should be getting a break from our significant severe weather outlooks here. And we got nothing really that we're looking at on the day 4 through 8 outlook. Talking about ridging, it's going to be a nice potential week of lesser severe weather here. There could be a return of severe weather as we get towards the end of next week here, or the end of this week, going towards Saturday, Sunday, maybe into the plains for a little small scale trough that's going to come through, but we'll talk more about that as we get closer to that event there. Now, I do want to give you guys a timing here on what we're going to see today. Showers and storms already ongoing across Kentucky here. We're going to see that cold front start to advance, and we do have the threat, a more better threat, I would say, for isolated supercells producing a strong tornado risk, large hail threat, and damaging wind threat, especially south of southern Kentucky here into western Tennessee, back into Mississippi, into portions of eastern Arkansas here. You can see there's a secondary area of showers and thunderstorms and maybe even some isolated vortex supercells that could develop later on as well, with an isolated tornado risk here into portions of Illinois and Indiana later on this afternoon. This is going to all be between about 1 o'clock this afternoon and about 10 p.m. tonight. It's going to be the main window for this event. You can see those lines, a line of storms tries to get going here. QLCS action, some supercells out in front here in northern Alabama, northern Mississippi, and that will continue to work its way east through about 11 p.m. to midnight tonight as we see those storms move into western North Carolina, weakening into Georgia and weakening into South Carolina. So really the window is going to be through the main day portion of the day here where the sun is out, the peak heating is ongoing. Could see a secondary area of some supercells fire off along that vortex as that low pressure system moves through later on this evening across northern Kentucky into southern Indiana. We'll watch that to see if anything happens with that, and then that system is done, and then we move this into tomorrow, and we do have showers and storms that'll be possible in those marginal risk zones for tomorrow, and we'll talk more about that in tomorrow's video. I do want to mention as well, though, the tornado parameters for today. They're not extremely high as we've seen the last 2 to 3 days, but there is a pretty decent corridor down here where we could see a couple of strong tornadoes. So do be mindful of that. Like I said, have a way to get alerts on your phones. Know whether radios in some areas work, some don't. So always have a backup source for alerts. Have 2 ways to get alerts. Know where to go when you get tornado warnings. Watching those parameter spacings up here doesn't show a lot of higher tornado parameters up into Kentucky, Tennessee, or northern Tennessee, Kentucky, Illinois, and Indiana, but that doesn't mean you're not going to see a threat for a tornado. Sometimes models just do wonky things, and sometimes they don't show the whole event ceiling. So we're going to have to watch this very, very closely, and then we'll be getting the system out of here by tomorrow. Now, I do want to talk as well. Actually, let's transition. I want to show you guys this. We have our first lemon. I call this the lemon. We call this in the weather world when we have hurricane season getting ready to get going here. We officially have our first area to watch here in the Pacific Ocean for tropical storm development. If you guys do not know, hurricane season starts on June 1st. We're very, very close to that happening. We'll be in full force talking about that once me and Ro get back from vacation next week. But we do have our first area of development of the year here in the eastern or in the western portion of the Pacific. Most of the times not. These storms do develop and they do go west here. Not going to be looking at anything headed towards the United States. This should stay well out over here into the waters here. But just trying to tell you guys, hurricane season is approaching. I thought I'd show you guys that just to kind of get y'all in the mindset of getting ready to go here for hurricane season. And now let's talk about our jet stream and what we're seeing here. This is what's left over from our trough. You can see the dip in the jet stream here, low pressure system up here into portions of the plains. There's going to be a secondary surface low that develops later on this afternoon here, or through this morning and through this afternoon, that's going to give us that chance for some isolated tornadoes, some strong tornadoes, some damaging winds, and some hail. That moves out here. We see a little bit left over here along the east coast, and we do get a secondary little jet stream that tries to develop tomorrow, where I could see the threat for some wind and some hail across the Midwest here, maybe even into the Ohio Valley, back into portions of the Arctic, and then that continues here. And what you guys are really going to start to notice going through the rest of this week is what we call northwesterly flow. We get these dips in the jet stream that come out into Canada. We get some cooler air that comes in out of Canada, but we get a ridge that starts to develop or tries to develop here back into the southern plains, and we just get ridge riding northwesterly flow. And these promote what we call mesoscale convective days, basically meaning we can get these lines of storms that develop off of these jet stream formations over these ridges that give us damaging winds, some hail, sometimes can allow for tornadoes to happen, but it's not going to be anything like we've been seeing over the last couple of days. And as we go towards Saturday and Sunday, we're going to have a little impulsive shortwave trough that's going to come through that we need to watch for on Saturday and Sunday. They could give us a little uptick in some severe weather along the central plains here going into Saturday and Sunday of this coming up weekend. We'll keep you guys updated on that. And then after that, I do want to notice here, once again, still seeing some MCS days across the board, these isolated, scattered severe weather days really through the month of May here. The severe weather is not going to just stop. It's not going to stop at all. We're going to have isolated days of severe weather, maybe even some scattered days, some numerous days, but it's not going to be, like I said, anything we've seen over the last couple of days, at least as of right now. And then going through the end of the month here, getting ready to look into June, and we just get some wonky jet stream things happening. Looks like the plains, the high plains will start to wake up here, but it does look to be that ridging starts to take over as we get into the first week of June. So that could mean some very warm and dry temperatures on the way as we go towards the beginning of next month. We'll keep you guys updated on that. I'll have another longer in-depth video kind of talking in range on what we're going to see for the rest of the month and into tomorrow in tomorrow's video. I just wanted to get this out to you guys. That way you guys know what's going on. Remember, I probably won't have a live stream well until later on tonight. So So if Connor goes live, make sure y'all head over to him. Connor's Climate Corner is the channel to watch in case you guys need that severe weather coverage. I don't know quite yet when he's going to be on, but he should be on throughout the day sporadically. So make sure y'all keep up with him. I'll try to give y'all video updates throughout the day if something happens here. Keep you guys updated. Other than that, y'all, be safe, be weather aware, and we'll see y'all in the next one.